Screaming like the start of a race. Diet Pepsi's my fuel in this Monday maze. Shake the weekend fog off my tired face. The hustling begins, no time to waste. Hey Monday, motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I'll feel the glow. It's my time now, let's start the show. Sun clouds up higher, chasing dreams like chasing fire. Got my rhythm set to overdrive. This Monday motivation vibe's keeping me alive. Hey Monday, motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I'll feel the glow. It's my time now, let's start the show. Street lights fading, sun climbs up higher, chasing dreams like chasing fire. Got my rhythm set to overdrive. This Monday motivation vibe's keeping me alive. Hey Monday, motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I'll feel the glow. It's my time now, I own the show. Know the week can be heavy, but I'm tougher still. Climbing the mountain, fueled by will. Each heartbeat whispers, yes you can. I'm golden, helping every woman and man. Hey Monday, motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I'll feel the glow. It's my time now, let's start the show.
What up, everybody? It is Monday. You know what that means. It is Monday Motivation Night. So welcome in, everybody. If you are brand new to my channel, you've never caught this before, my name is Pamela, aka Scooterrenee. I'm your host of tonight's Monday Motivation, as I am for all Monday Motivation. And I also do auctions on my channels as well, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and any other days I can throw in there. And also auction on other channels. So that's why you want to make sure you do all the YouTube things. The YouTube things are to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring that bell for all notification and a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that on your way in, on your way out. At some point, if you can hit the thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate that. So I've got to figure out something to do with this ring light because I see it in my glasses. And now that I pointed out to you guys, now you're going to see it the whole time too. But anyways, it's driving me batty, so I got to figure that out. But I didn't want to touch my computer because if it messes with the cords and I lose my camera, then I'm going to be even more upset. So I was like, we'll deal with that later. So welcome in. It is Thanksgiving week, so happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. All the new people, welcome in. I hope you'll continue to come on back, catch this with us every Monday at 8 p.m. Central. And all my OGs, I see you popping in saying hello. So it's so good to see you all as well. And the playback crew. If you're the playback crew, do me a favor at the end of the show or during the show, whichever. If you're the playback crew, if you will comment below that you're the playback crew. And if you want to participate in the chat, participation questions as well, feel free to do that. I promise you I do read all comments and I do answer if you answer any of the questions. So let's see who all is in chat. Let's say hello to everybody because we got lots to cover tonight. Very first one in is Kathy. Hey, Kathy, welcome in. Good to see you. We got Selena here, my feather sister. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Good to see you. We got Jimmy Mac. When are you coming back? Hey, Jimmy, welcome in. So sweet to see you. Crack and Mary. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Good to see you. Oh, it's like your avatar is so cute. Little panda bear hung up in the blinds. Let's see. We got Mary here. Hello, Mary. Welcome in. Good to see you, Mary. We got Josie here. Hey, Josie, welcome in. And let's see, anybody else? Harry. Hey, Harry, welcome in. Good to see you. Lisa D, how in the world are you? So good to see you as well. So welcome in, everybody. As people get the notification, they'll be popping in saying hello. I try to say hello to everybody that I see, so forgive me as I do that throughout the show. Also, there's other great things going on the YouTube, so people will be coming in and out and stuff like that. That's okay. But those of you that are here for tonight, thank you so much for spending some time with me this evening. We'll probably hit that hour mark, maybe go a little over the hour mark, because the information tonight is just as good as last week. Thank you guys for your feedback that y'all gave me from last Monday. I really appreciate that. That kind of gauges and tells me what I need to keep concentrating on. So, yep, everybody wear your green tomorrow. That's right. Rylan goes in for his surgery, so y'all make sure to keep Rylan in y'all's prayers. That's Selena's grandson, her oldest grandchild. So he'll be going in for his 37th. Is that right, Selena? Surgery. So if y'all can keep Riley in your prayers, we greatly appreciate that. Let's see. Hope you guys had a great weekend. As always, we had beautiful temps here in Arkansas. Now it's cold as all get out, but we had rain all day today. That always makes it a miserable day most of the time. So this weekend, I had a very sore ear, as y'all know if y'all watch the shorts, but I still worked the flea market. I do have to say, Tammy was going to let me leave early Saturday, and I was like, nope, I'll tough it out. I got this. So but I've been dealing with that this weekend. I also put all my teas up there because generally December, January, February, I won't do another vendor event until March, spring of next year. So I put all my teas up there this weekend as well. And then also got a lot of them listed online as well on Poshmark. And then I'm going to cross post them over to eBay at some point. So, yeah, I'm sure you did, Selena. All 16 of them. That's probably not that many, but. So, let's see. Lisa D said, just got back home, picked my car up from the shop. Flat tire on your way to church yesterday. That's no fun. And then as soon as I say that, I always hear my mom's voice in my head. But you never know what that was keeping you from. You know, God was protecting you. Yes, Mom. So, those of you who didn't know about the whole ear thing, it's been swollen. I look like I had cauliflower ear. Today, it looks much better up here. This was all swollen. I still have a little bit of a knot right here and a knot back here. But tonight, knock on wood, I feel like a brand new person tonight. So those of you that are praying, thank you, because apparently they're working. So, along with some hydrocodone and ibuprofen. So I know, right, Kathy? And then she's like, oh, I got a new tree. I tore that one down. I put some new stuff on it, is what she always tells me. Right? Who's counting? Hey, Joanne. Welcome in, sweetheart. Good to see you. I was like, Gianna. I meant Joanne, right, Jimmy? If there is a Gianna in here, welcome in, Gianna. Good to see you. But I think he meant Joanne. Good, thank you. I thought I was losing my mind. Right, Crack-a-Mary? He sure does. He left me alone to get this week's, because I had this week's notes, tonight's notes typed up Saturday. So, you know, he left me alone to do that this week. So I'm glad. I'm thankful. Also, real quick, an update on Jackie, in case you didn't see the short today. Jackie is my oldest granddaughter's grandmother. It's her dad's mom. And she's obviously, I think I shared with y'all, she's been in a hospital about 2 weeks or so now. Thought she was kind of improving a little, but apparently things are not that way anymore. And they have decided that on December 3rd that they are going to turn the machines off. Not sure how long she will keep going after that, but they don't think it will be long. She was in all her numbers and everything were in red as of Saturday night. So I'm asking for prayers for her, that there's a miracle, either a miracle for her, or that there's peace and comfort that comes for her and to her, and then also for the family and being able to let her go and so forth. So anyways, we got Black Widow here. Hey, Black Widow, welcome in. So yeah, if y'all can keep them in your prayers. Her name is Jackie, and then of course my granddaughter's name is Emma, and my daughter's name is Shelby. Jackie's husband's name is Sammy, and their son is Jameson. So if you can just keep them all in your prayers, I would appreciate that. So tonight we are continuing on with our brand new series called Forgiving, What You Can't Forget. And again, I know that this can and might be a hard series for some of you guys, and I respect that. But some of the comments I heard from last Monday's motivation was a sign that I do need to continue this series. I think a lot of us are going to learn a lot, not just from what I'm saying, but what we're all sharing together in the chat. So again, feel free to chat in the chat and everything. But when I say chat participation time, when you participate in the question or statement or whatever it is that I give you, I will give you a star, and you'll get into a monthly drawing. So, but the chat last week was phenomenal. I'm hoping tonight's a repeat of that. So feel free, like I said, to chat, answer questions, talk about what we're talking or what I'm telling you guys among yourselves as well. Just continue that participation. I really appreciate that. And again, you know, this whole series, if it's something that you just don't think that you need at this point, or it's just too much for you, then just know that we're going to be in this series probably for another 12 weeks. So we're going to be here for a bit, and you're welcome to keep checking back in and know that the door is always open and that there's a seat right here for you as well. Which, how appropriate is that last part about a seat here for you guys. Tonight's topic is on the same table. So welcome to the table. Thanksgiving is this Thursday, and what an appropriate time to talk about being at the table. Some of us will have families that will gather around the table for the Thanksgiving feast. Robert and I will just be Robert and I. Probably not much going on. We might go somewhere to eat. I don't know. We're still trying to figure out this new norm, as be it just the two of us, empty nesters type thing. And then some of us might not have family or anybody around for Thanksgiving. And I hope that, you know, you still have an awesome day, and that everything is precious for you. So, get lost in my own thoughts there for a second. But I just thought with Thanksgiving being this Thursday, that was such an appropriate time to talk about being at the table, but also that this topic is all about something else as well. So I hope you'll stick around for the next, 45 minutes, hour 15, however long we go, because of, chat and everything. Craig and Mary, we are talking exactly about that. Craig and Mary says, I've learned to forgive, but I will never forget. That's in my notes tonight. We'll cover it just a second. So, Mama Sands, hey, welcome in. Okay, I'm trying to figure out, where did she go? I know I missed something that Mary said. She said something about add to your playlist for the future like I do. Are you talking about tonight? Is that what you're talking about? We got Karen here, my favorite brown sugar. Hello, Karen. Welcome in. All right, so tonight's statement to hold on to is that God's grace is sufficient for me, and He is my strength when I don't feel like I can go on. To give you an idea of what the table is all about, I thought that this song would be appropriate to show you guys tonight. Again, if you're live with me right now, you're going to get to see the video, hear the music, all that good stuff. But if you're watching a playback crew, unfortunately, you will not get to hear the song that goes with this video because YouTube will make me mute it or cut it completely out. So without further ado, I got to do this one a little different tonight. I have to share my screen because for whatever reason, it's not letting me download it to StreamYard. So give me just a second. We're going to switch over to that, and then we'll get going for tonight. So. There, I had to figure out how to bring myself back. I love that song, and I thought that song for tonight was so appropriate about what the table is really all about and everything. So I'm glad it touched some of you as I read in chat and everything. Hopefully y'all can hear that just fine. I hate it that I couldn't download it to StreamYard. Anyways, hey Francine, welcome in. You're not late. Welcome in. Good to see you, Francine. So, chat participation time. Let's do an easy one starting out for you guys tonight. Who here has, or maybe you had, a dining breakfast table? Anybody in chat have one? I know we got one. We used to use it all the time when the girls lived here. Now we don't ever use it because it's just Robert and I. Right, Francine. I love that song. Right. Jimmy said when it comes to forgiveness, you Scooter know about my happenings with Doug. I've forgiven him, but just can't forget. Right. Kathy says, not really. Karen says no. Lisa D said no. Joanne says, I have a table, just catches everything. Yes, you're like us. Mary says yes. I just thought we'd just started off easy about, having a table. Well, I said dining or breakfast table, Karen. So you do have one. Or is it not in your house? Maybe that's what you mean. Hey, so Greg and Mary said nope. Selena says, ha, no room for the table, right? Jimmy doesn't have one. I'm really kind of trying to figure out why we even have one, right? Stop that. Okay, that way it doesn't affect anything over here. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out why we even have one because we don't use it. If we have family over, we'll use it sometimes, but not like we used to. Right, Joanne? Don't even use it to eat at. It just collects everyone. Josie has one. Craig and took it over. Is that what you meant? Craig and Mary? Oh, Lisa D said in the last house I did, but it broke in the move. Never bought another one, right? Right? Joanne says, where would I sit everything when I came in? Got you, Craig and Mary. I think when Selena's here, when Selena and Sam were here 2 years ago, we ate at the table. But when Selena was here, we didn't eat at the table. So, right? Selena will eat at my table if it's got spaghetti made by Robert. Yes. They are a catch-all. I have a big old shipping table over here that I was like, I'm going to do all my shipping on there. It catches everything. Doesn't even get used for shipping. It was my shipping supplies, like my tape and all that stuff, poly mailers and stuff, but I don't use it for what I intended it to be used for. So I think we have all had one, or we've all had one, a dining table or breakfast table, whatever you want to call it, in our life, some point in our life. So some tables, families have dinner and talk like we used to when the girls lived at home. Some tables might be quiet and there's no talking whatsoever. And then some tables, like we have said, like Joanne and I admitted, they're just collect-alls, and some tables are just never used. Josie said, I use my table for shipping and crafts. And Kathy said, we didn't grow up sitting at a table, didn't even have a table when my kids were growing up. Yep. We did that with our girls. We had our table that my mother-in-law actually bought the bottom piece separate from the top piece. And now I don't have the heart to get rid of it. But we used to sit there at dinner with our girls and we would do, what was good about your day, what was bad about your day. And that really got them to where they would talk to us when we would do that. So we'd just go around the table. As you know, having 3 teenage daughters, it gets quite interesting as they get older, because we did that until they moved out of the house. So, but usually when I am preparing and I'm getting ready for my Monday motivation notes, when I'm typing them up, getting them ready and everything, I have a gray wood table that I use as my own dinner tray. Now that it's just Robert and I, it's a dinner tray, but it's also my work table. And so sometimes I prepare my notes in the quietness in the living room. And some days when I'm working my notes, I'll invite Robert to come in to share some of his input about it, or I'll talk to some of my friends. Hey, what do you think about this? That kind of thing. But as I prepare tonight's notes, I see that this series is going to sometimes feel complicated for me. At other times, it's probably going to feel wonderful for me. And then there's also some parts that are just going to be plain, flat out hard for me. So, and while that's all still going on, the world is just going to keep on going. It's going to keep on moving and spinning, and it doesn't ever stop, even when a message like this needs to be shared somehow. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Joanne says she did grow up sitting at the table with parents for meals. Selena said, I used to have when the kids were here, but I decorated it. Of course you did. Francine said, we always had a table that was getting everyone to sit down at the same time to talk. Yes. Jimmy said, Virgil and I had one, but the quilting machine took precedence. Yep, right? Kathy said her daughter has a table, and when she lived with her, the table was used. I wasn't comfortable sitting at it, but I have my grandkids sit at it. Yes. And that's what, with the grandkids we've done. Even with the grandkids, we haven't sat at the table. So Lisa D said we had a big table we all sat at growing up when the kids were young. We always sat at the table till the moved and never had the money to buy one. Wouldn't use one anymore. Right? Yes. Same here. Karen said at her grandmother's house, we all had meals at the table. Yep. All that's kind of, faded. So, but some questions I found myself asking and wondering for tonight were, does this message truly resonate with us as we navigate daily life because of it always going and spinning and everything? Especially also maybe for some of us that we got things going on right now that's in this moment. But I still pulled up my little gray wood table that I use, pulled it up to my recliner, and I opened my heart up to the teaching of this book and, of course, to the Bible as well. Many of us will reflect on past grievances that still impact us more than we like to admit. Some of you might not have faced major hardships, but any lingering pain that you keep revisiting, it deserves our attention when we continue to go over it and over it. And for others, the emotional baggage, it piles up over time. Meanwhile, some of you are currently navigating significant challenges in your life right now as I speak. As we share our struggles and possibly tears, we each face our own questions about forgiveness. And just in case you weren't aware, there was and always will be an extra chair set aside for you here on Monday nights for those that might be standing behind the table, lurking in chat, or staying quiet in chat. There will always be a chair here for you. Here, you can ask anything. You are safe here. We'll take care of your heart here in chat as well. You can share your thoughts freely without any edits. And your quest for truth will be respected, and we understand any hesitation that you might have. So welcome, friend, to our table. Y'all didn't know we had a table here, did you? Psalms 23:5 reads, You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Regardless of how many tables we've been invited to or we've been left out of, the Lord assures us that we always have a spot at his table. So let's do another chat participation question here. What does it mean to you that Jesus says you're always loved, you're always welcome, and you're always invited? What does that mean to you guys? What y'all think? Give me a drink of water. Like I said, we don't go into religion, so to speak, but this topic, the book that I chose for us to go over, I just couldn't help but, bring it and share it. So, again, if you're confused on what I said, what does it mean to you when Jesus says that you are always loved, you're always welcome, and you're always invited? Oh, you're so welcome, Jimmy. I love you. Selena says, release. I know I have a better place to go after living here. Amen. Kathy said, he's just always there, ready and waiting, no matter what. Yes. Josie said, it means I can get through anything and that I'm blessed with his love. Yes. Mary says, unconditional love. No matter what my behavior looks like, there's always hope. Yes. You're giving me chills tonight. Oh, Joanne, it's like a big hug from Jesus. I know I belong. Yes. Lisa D says, love is unconditional and always there for me. Kara says, love with open arms. Yes. Jimmy says, without him, we would be nothing. Love it. The idea of being welcome to the table is crucial as we dive into the theme of forgiveness over the next coming weeks. In the Bible, the table symbolizes a space for companionship, open dialogue, and connection. It's where we get to know others while inviting them to understand us better. That's what I feel like we do here in chat and everything. Black Widow. Our comedian. I think he shakes his head at me a lot. I'm sure he does that to me too. And probably a few others of us in here. But that's what I love about Monday Motivation. It's where we can have the companionship, the open dialogue, and the connection. And also get to understand each other better. So this space thrives on a healthy balance of giving and receiving. In the Old Testament, prophets painted a picture of a grand feast to symbolize God's reign. The imagery invites us not only to enjoy his nourishment and support, but also to feel the warmth of his presence and his strength. In the New Testament, we often see Jesus sharing meals, with the Last Supper being the most significant. The special meal took place with his disciples just before his crucifixion. And even today, he invites us to join him at this table as we partake in communion, reflecting on his sacrifice for our redemption. Although there aren't any physical tables around, there are two important moments involving meals and Jesus that we shouldn't miss. In John 18, if you'll remember that Peter denies Jesus while sitting by a fire where people were likely eating and drinking. And that moment, it tied directly to another scene in John 21 where the resurrected Jesus prepares a meal for his disciples and lovingly restores Peter. The connections between these events, along with the significance of the Last Supper, shows that a table is an ideal setting for those who are broken and battered to find redemption and healing through Jesus, the one who provides the meal. And because I feel like it needs to be repeated, the table is the perfect place for the broken and the battered to find redemption and restoration from the provider of the meal, Jesus. Black Widow says, true story. I used to wait on a priest at the bank and I told him I should really come visit. He said the holy water would sizzle on my forehead. Oh my goodness. I totally understand what it's like to be hurt so profoundly that the idea of forgiveness feels unthinkable. Maybe it's a concept that you'll revisit someday when you've had more time to heal. Or perhaps it's something that you've been steering clear of and you just simply prefer not to talk about it. I understand completely. Honestly, if I were invited to join this table conversation, I'd probably bring a big old mix of all those ideas together. Some that I'll talk about, some that I'll deal with it later, and then some that I'm just not going to talk to you about it. Throughout my life, I've had many different feelings when it comes to the word forgiveness. Everything from apprehension and defeat to anger, hurt, and confusion. That's why I want to share something truly important with you guys. I understand what it feels like to sit in a room filled with pain and feel completely isolated. But you're not alone in this. You won't face judgment as you work through this series. I personally don't want anyone who can't truly grasp the pain in my heart to tell me how to move on, as if forgiving should be, so simple, such an easy task. Nor do I want anyone to, for myself, I don't want to feel the shame for being cautious, or worse, have someone overwhelm me with advice that I just can't accept right now. I want you to know that I didn't breeze through writing these notes and what I wanted to cover tonight. It's been a struggle. And honestly, there were moments I felt completely defeated by it. I know. Karen says, hey, Scooter, now that you're speaking about this, you notice we all come together at the shop and talk and open up about any and everything that's going on, right? And guess what, guys? It's at a table, too. Isn't that crazy? Yes, it's at a table. Thank you, Karen. But through my research and getting notes ready for tonight on forgiveness, I've discovered that many of us struggle because of genuine feelings that create resistance. When I say these statements to you, I want you to think if any of these resonate or have resonated with you when it comes to forgiveness. Maybe it doesn't resonate with you now, but it's resonated with you in the past. Statement number 1, I fear the offense will be repeated. Number 2, hanging on to a grudge gives me a sense of control in a situation that's felt so unfair. Statement number 3, the pain that I experienced altered my life, and yet no one has ever validated that what I went through was wrong. Statement 3 would be me. Number 4 was, I'm just not ready to forgive. I still feel hurt. And there were 2 other statements that I also read that resonated with me, and maybe you have felt or feel the same way. And those were, and this one's huge for me, they haven't apologized or even acknowledged that what they did was wrong. And the other one, being back in a relationship with this person isn't possible or safe. Furthermore, it's not even reasonable for me to have a conversation with the person who hurt me. And that's whether they're alive or they passed on. Then B, I don't think any good will come from forgiveness now. Right, Selena said, I don't want to hold judgment. I'm too tired to do so. Right. It is when your heart is broken and it feels unfamiliar in your chest that forgiving can seem so impossible. Right, Harry. Harry says, okay to feel hurt, but you do need to try to forgive them. Initially, we might feel that it's a bit too early to forgive. But then before we know it, years have passed us by and we find ourselves thinking it's just too late. As a Christian, I know I am meant to forgive. I might have even muttered a quiet prayer that included the word forgiveness. But when it comes to really understanding what forgiveness meant, I have to admit, I was still at a loss on that. It's funny though, despite how central forgiveness is to our faith, many of us never really learned much about it. It just seems like a very easy, simple statement, I forgive. But what is it really about? We understand that God asked us to do this, but how do we go about it? Why is it important? When should we act? And are there any situations where we can make exceptions? After spending time exploring this subject, I can't say all my questions have found clear answers, and it's definitely not an easy journey. However, I can assure you that the Bible reveals the essential truth about forgiveness that our hearts truly need. And the best part, God Himself showed us how to forgive, even when it seems completely overwhelming. Josie said, when you don't forgive, you're allowing that person or situation to live in your brain, which can destroy you. And living your brain rent-free is what I always like to say. Karen said, no matter what, we have to forgive. Selena says, now I do have a hard time when people hurt my friends and family. I have a hard time with that. We're getting her there. God's word brings us a tangible sense of forgiveness. Jesus, who was completely sinless, fully divine, and wholly human, faced immense suffering. He was rejected, he was beaten, humiliated, he was devalued in every way possible. He endured all of this so that we wouldn't have to face even a moment of our struggles alone. He approached us filled with a spirit of forgiveness, even knowing the blood that He would eventually shed. He refused to let our human excuses push forgiveness aside. Harry says, we talk a lot about forgiving people, but we never talk about when sometimes enough is enough from some people, right? Karen says, we also have to remember healing is a process. It doesn't always happen overnight. So very true. It can take a very long time. And there's no, right, Kathy? There's no timetable. There's no book. There's nothing out there that tells you when that should be for you. Just the same as grief. There's no timetable if you're grieving. Everybody's different, and that's okay. But just when we think that we've reached the limit of forgiveness, Jesus surprises us by urging us to forgive endlessly. And I thought that was so crazy because Karen and I just talked about this Saturday. Like 70 times 7. I think it was Saturday. I know we definitely have talked about it. But 70 times 7 is what he said. He reminds us that we can't hold on to unforgiveness, especially after receiving such great mercy from God Himself. Forgiveness is a command, but it's not meant to be harsh. It's a reflection of God's loving mercy towards our hearts, which often struggles to transform pain into compassion rather than resentment. So chat participation time. I've seen you guys type this, but how many of you have heard the phrase, because y'all just said it tonight, how many of you have heard the phrase forgive and forget? That's what I thought, Karen. I thought we just talked about that. How many of us, because Y'all already said it tonight. Forgive and forget. How many of y'all have heard that phrase? I think we've all said it at one time or another. Lisa D says yes. Joanne says I have. Mary says yup. Kathy says all the time. Right? Well, I can forgive them. I just can't forget what they did to me. Carrie says me. Selena says a lot. Josie says I have. All right. Francine says yes, I have. It's interesting that the phrase forgive and forget is not actually found in the Bible. It is perfectly okay to forgive someone even if you can't fully forget what happened. We're encouraged to release our past so that we can move ahead from and be free from the bitterness, resentment, anger, and unforgiveness. The idea of forgetting is only mentioned in reference to God forgiving our sins. Mary says, I have learned to forgive, but to forget could mean to repeat a mistake. Harry says, Jesus forgave us when hanging on the cross. How he does it is beyond me, especially with the way people act these days. Right? How many of us have even thought, well, he might forgive me, but he's not going to forget that I did that. I mean, there's judgment coming, you're right? But in the Bible, it's only mentioned in reference to God forgiving our sins. And in Hebrews 8:12, he says, for I will be merciful towards their iniquities. How do you say that word? And I will remember their sins no more. I will say that you can take a deep breath knowing that here that abuse will not be accepted. God's boundless grace opens the door to forgiveness for everyone, while his truth sets clear guidelines to tackle wrongful actions. We can create boundaries that balance mercy with a firm approach. Right, Josie? Yes. Mary, yes, he knows our heart. Selena says, I forgave my ex before he died, and I pray he got saved before he died. Yes. Like you possibly, I faced the tough reality of a deep pain, especially when it feels like some wounds are simply unhealable. And I've struggled with the unfairness of it all. Nikki! Hey, Nikki. Sometimes it's hard when you have a lost loved one and suffer through it. Yes. Yep. You get a star, Nikki, for participating. You'll go into the monthly drawing first Monday in December. I have explored forgiveness from every angle, thinking about it in terms of faith, ethics, relationships, and logic. But perhaps the most enlightening perspective has come from the beautiful, sometimes illogical ways Jesus approached forgiveness. Nikki said, I was angry for years, but I now feel very blessed. Love it. Karen said, we also talked about if I really forgave my ex for what he had done to me when I found out he had passed away. Thank you for sharing that, Karen, because yes. Aw, thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that. Harry says, I used to be afraid to pray to God. Lord, forgive me, I do wrong. But then I remember he knew we all would fall short. He knew what was going to happen before it happened, right? Yep, definitely. If you live long enough, you will lose loved ones. Yep. Forgiveness is a complex issue. that can't be boiled down to something simple. It covers a wide range of offenses, from minor annoyances, I have to chuckle with that part, to horrific acts like murder, and the difference in their impact is huge. Despite this, God calls us to embrace forgiveness. It reaches across the entire spectrum. Absolutely, the consequences are linked to how serious the sin is. God's mercy doesn't overlook his sense of justice. Yet the call for us to forgive is unmistakably clear, and we can't ignore it or refuse it. I want you to know that, having personally struggled to believe in forgiveness while facing my own pain, I say this with deep sincerity. I won't shame you for your challenges or your questions or on your doubts. One of the key lessons I learned on my healing journey was recognizing the things that were holding me back, along with some false beliefs that I was holding on to. My therapist, she helped me by discussing the ways that I was coping with all the pain that I was experiencing at the time. Selena said, I'm glad when Amelia died a year ago, my daughter wasn't blamed. Instead, she drew closer to the Lord. Yes, she didn't blame herself. That's right. Like Widow says, I lost a few siblings before I was 30. Don't waste your days. But I was in therapy, and honestly, I was feeling pretty good about my progress. I'd heard stories of how people cope when their pain becomes too much to handle, with many turning to drugs or alcohol. Others mention, binge watching TV, drowning out what they were going through, or engaging in casual hookups, if you will. And since I didn't do any of those, I was feeling pretty good about my progress. And then my therapist, she probably sensed that I was a bit too optimistic about my own situation. So then she wanted to discuss my coping mechanism. I smiled, anticipating that she would just let me skip that part of therapy, that round of therapy, that session, since I was handling it all too well in my eyes. But instead of agreeing, she smiled and she replied to me, you tend to over-spiritualize your experiences, which makes you ignore your true emotions instead of facing your pain. What? That hurt. How could she even say something like that? Yeah, I couldn't deny it this time. I had to face the truth. Yet I still sat there and I wanted to shoot her the most dirtiest look, that I was so annoyed that she would even do that to me. And I just wanted to brush her off and push on through and get out there as quick as I could. But she was actually correct in what she said. You see, her words, they actually stripped away all of my defensive bravado and my cheerful act that I was giving. Nikki said, I too have had a person I couldn't forgive. At 14, he took advantage for years. I've never been able to be past and forgive. Karen said, I'm coming to the realization that you have to forgive, and you do forgive them, but you're still angry sometime about what happened. Yes. That speaks volumes to me right now, Karen. Yes. I allow my brain to go there. Yep. Awesome, Nikki. Celia says, but Scoot, God knew you would go through the hardest thing in my life. I put pics of Amelia on a board. I go out and call Scooter and cry. Yep. Nikki says, as a Christian woman, I love and care about you, Scooter. And you too, Nikki. And everybody else in here tonight. I love this. So as soon as I got over myself, I found myself asking, am I seeing life as I wish it was, as I wish it were, what could have been? Or am I seeing life as it truly is in this moment? You see, using coping mechanisms like excessive positivity, there's me, the good angel on my shoulder all the time, the silver lining, or excessive spirituality, the numbing substances, they might help us get through those tough times. However, in the long run, these strategies don't really help us heal. They just keep us stuck in our pain. That was another hard pill to swallow. Eventually, we need to take a moment to pause and face what we've been avoiding. As in, we must stop replaying what happened over and over. We must stop taking what was actually terrible in the past and tricking ourselves into thinking it was better than it was. We must stop imagining the way things should be, that we can't even acknowledge what is. Lisa says, I believe we all have suffered one form or another, some of us many stages of our lives, from loved ones and acquaintances. I knew what you were saying, Lisa D. Hey, cool. Welcome in, sister. So good to see you. Yay, you're here. You haven't missed much. I know. Selena says, I still want to smack that good shoulder. Just saying. She gets frustrated with me. She's like, Scooter, just feel, dang it. Right, Nikki? So true, but so hard. Yes. We can't ignore our reality and hope that everything will just improve. Excuse me. To heal, we must first accept what is truly happening. I've really been impacted by my experiences. I'm sure some of you might also be like me, that while I'm great at putting on a brave face, convincing others, and even myself, that I'm doing better than I really am, I think it's time to set aside the mask and confront the truth of my feelings. Maybe it's that time for you too. We both might be scared and curious about the bare reality that we face. But with this clearer view, it helps us understand our true state, and it allows us to thoughtfully identify which parts of our heart still needs healing before we can truly move forward. My therapist, good old great therapist, she cleverly highlighted some overly spiritual statements that I've made to mask the fact that my heart isn't as healed as I thought it was, as I like to think it was. And maybe you said these too. Hey, I'm good. I'm fine. I like when Selena calls me and she'll say, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. And immediately she goes into tell me what's wrong. I'm like, dang it! I said I was good. I said I was fine. Why are you thinking there's something else going on? But she knows it every time. Kraken, hey buddy, good to see you. He said, is it just human nature to just judge someone, whether they are Christian or sinner, someone else based solely on what they see or hear, even though they aren't supposed to? I mean, I think it's human nature. I think God knew that we would have that human flesh of us that goes through that. Selena says, you can see it on my face when I get mad. Can't hide it from my friends. I don't have a poker face at all. Apparently I don't have a poker voice either, so if we want to be honest. Hey Tammy, welcome in. So, some of the spiritual false beliefs, if you will, maybe you've said these to yourself as well, or to your friends or family members, whoever, the whole, hey, I'm good, I'm fine, I just decided to move on. Hey, it's their loss for walking away from me. How many of us have said that, right? Right, Nikki? We're not supposed to judge one another. And we are not perfect and all fall short. Lisa D said, I was raised, mom telling me never to judge anyone. I don't believe I do. Mom says so much, I still hear her tell me that 28 years after her passing, right? Yes. Right? And maybe that's it. Karen said, we also find ourselves asking why. Why did these things happen? Why did it have to happen? What was maybe this is the positivity side of me, the good angel side of me. What's the lesson here that I need to learn of what I'm going through? Yep, it does. Thought about getting you one for Christmas as your Christmas present. So maybe you said these false beliefs, statements, that you're good. They're laws for walking away. But as a Christian, I know I should forgive, so I have. What's in the past is in the past. I'm just walking forward. Hey, no big deal. There's so much to be thankful for, so I'm just choosing to be grateful. And the last one, I'm mature enough to say, it is what it is, and get over it. You might be thinking, hold on, those thoughts, Scooter, those thoughts don't really seem so bad. And you're right, unless they're trapping you in a negative place. It's like that commercial for the antidepressant, get it right, Scooter. The antidepressant drug of wearing a mask with a smile. Y'all seen, and then she puts it in her purse and then she brings it out in front of the people. We're wearing a mask with a smile while bearing an unresolved pain, which, by the way, can lead to an inevitable outburst somewhere down the line. Selena. Nikki says, even though through my darkest times, which were bad, I thank the Lord every day for what I had. Yes. But we all do. We all want to waste it on the past. So I just thought, how fitting that commercial fits in that part right there. Sometimes it feels easier They can be. Right, Kraken? They can be. And I think it's those that's made a lot of people withdraw from church as well. Everybody acts like they got it all together, Sometimes it feels easier to ignore our pains than to confront it and truly heal. As C.S. Lewis puts it, everyone thinks forgiveness is a wonderful idea until they have something they need to forgive. So let's do another chat participation time. How does the statement, sometimes it seems easier to deny my pain than to do the hard work to deal with and heal what's really there? How does that resonate with you? Sometimes it seems easier to just deny my pain than to do the hard work to deal with and heal what's really there. I never thought I could be the person that has PTSD. I have been in a war, nothing brutal, anything like that. And then my therapist was like, nope, you got PTSD from what you went through with your stepdad. Never thought about that way. And she even had to convince me of it. So, right, Lisa D? It depends on what church. I've gone to a Southern Baptist church and it just felt so cliquey and everybody wore their Sunday best, and they had their groups, and they weren't very welcoming into that group. And not, for people that aren't outgoing, I'm just not going to walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, I'm Pamela," And then Robert and I were going to a great church that was non-denominational, loved it and everything. And then we found out some things within the church. So we've been struggling as far as trying to find another place to call home again. Nikki says, I don't go to church, maybe occasionally, but no, I don't prefer regulated religion. See, I just love the worship music. And at this church that we were going to, it was almost like, if I dare say, my mom hated it. But if I do dare say, it was almost felt like we were going to a concert, but I could just get lost. Because of my hearing, I need the music as loud as it can be anyways. And so being there and that music being so loud, it was like a concert, and everybody was all there worshiping together and everything. And so I loved it. My mom, on the other hand, being brought up Southern Baptist, and you only had piano and organ in church type thing, maybe a guitar, she was like, nope, this is way too much. And that was okay, That's very true, Josie. Cracking, just because someone goes to church does not mean they are really a Christian. Yep. We all, like, some of us pretend that we are. We play the parts. We got to, look the part and all that stuff. Lisa D said, we are a non-denomination church. I think that is a plus. We are all equal, right? That's how I felt about that church. Oh, thank you, Nikki. Mary says, I used to live in denial, became dependent on substance, etc. Had to change course to survive. Be honest with myself, right? I find that hard with myself. Cool says, I prefer to face the pain head on. I learned at a very early age that the pain will just fester. Yeah, but out of sight, out of mind. I'm going to go over that here in just a second. Right, Joanne? Put up a brave front. Kathy says, I do the hard work, have been in therapy over 20 years, doing the work, and it's not been easy. I haven't quit, even though sometimes I wanted to, right? Karen said, just admit that it hurts and deal with it. That's sometimes a tough one, though, Karen. Right? See, that's what I love. I have to dress up Monday through Thursday now, of course. And the last thing I wanted to do was dress up on the weekend, So that's what I loved about this church. And then before COVID, this church had church on Saturday night, so then I could sleep in on Sunday. Because your girl loves her sleep. So, but now after COVID, they only do one service, and it's on Sunday. Nikki says, yes, I go to non-denomination Bible-based churches, but yes, I love the contemporary Christian music. Yes. There's actually a church going towards Hot Springs that's called the Cowboy Church, I think. Something like that. Karen, go to church, but it's church in you. Selena says, I married a preacher's son. He won't cuss for nothing. Right? Cool. Yes. Talk about going a year and a half of grief counseling just to get through it. Yes. Joanne says, I go to the Vineyard Church, a non-denominational, come as you are. We do have great worship music. Everyone is so welcoming. Yes. So now instead of going there, if I happen to catch it, Robert and I are outsourcing. I'll watch church on my phone. So Selena said, Crowbar helped me release was a really big help. I highly recommend a smash room. Yep, I took Selena here. I took Selena to a smash room when she was here. You can break bottles. You can crush screens like computer screens and TVs. And Selena chose the Crowbar, and beat the file cabinet from standing up to being a flat pancake. So, yeah, do not give that girl a crowbar if you're around. So Kraken Travis brings up a good point. I'm just saying that church is supposed to make you feel security and love, but I think that the church is fractured from the way it used to make sinners feel. See, that's what I loved about the church that we were going to, because they had like the whole recovery and other big life groups going on to help people that were dealing with that kind of, all different walks of life and everything. Lisa D says she grew up in Lutheran church with the traditional organ music. She loves contemporary music. Yep. You're throwing axes at a target, whereas this, you're just throwing stuff all over the room. Like there's no target or anything. But probably, I would think as far as getting your frustration out, when everything came to light with what I was going through with my stepdad, Robert took me to probably not the best place, but he took me to a shooting range. And let me tell you, shooting the gun released a lot of anger, frustration, and stuff. But I'm okay mentally knowing that I would never use that towards anybody. And I probably shouldn't have said that, but anyway, it is what it is, right? Selena says, we're having church right now. Yes. Karen says, we also have to remember in a book of Revelations, God spoke about issues that he had with certain churches. Right. So let's see. Let's do another chat participation time. Did we answer that question a while ago? Did I give y'all stars? I don't even remember what. Let's do another one. You all get a star. You get a star. You get a star. You get a star. You get a star. Let me go through here and give stars since I did not keep up with that one well. Oh my goodness, that's too funny. So let's do another one. Do you tend to process life through the way you want it to be? Or do you process life the way it actually is? I think we kind of talked about that, right? Stars galore, yes. I want to be Oprah for just a moment. Do you tend to process life through the way you want it to be or the way it actually is? Harry, I didn't see your name, so I'm giving you a star too now. Right, Karen? Josie says, like it is. Nikki says, the way it is. Cole says, it took Mike and I about 10 years of trying every different church before we found our church family. Selena says, I was raised Church of God, Sam Baptist, but he never stopped when I took the kids to church. Lisa D says, as it is. Kathy says, like it is. Oops. Harry says, like it is. Oh my gosh, chat's jumping. Kraken, I'm giving you a star even for that statement. Joanne says, as it is. Selena says, not sure. I think it depends on what it is, right? Oh, Mary, really? You had to go there. I really try to focus on reality without interjecting my ego these days. I love that. Right, Lisa D? Blessed to have that freedom. Mm-hmm. Whether you're struggling with deep pain that matches the feelings that we talked about earlier, or just brushing it off like the last list that I share, you're fine, you're good, whatever, I want you to know that forgiveness, it is within reach. it's truly a wonderful thing. Cracking as it is. Oh, Nikki. There's a lot of times I have to admit that I would like to process life the way I want it to be, but I do recognize what it actually is. Does that make sense? Yeah, right, Karen. It really just depends. There's some things I just don't, out of sight, out of mind. You will learn that about me, Nikki. I'm a very out of sight, out of mind kind of person. So then I'm like, well, if I don't admit it, it's not the truth, right? Yeah, I know, Selena. That's going to take time, girl. That's all I can say. Your heart deserves to be free from lingering pain. And your soul is worthy of so much more than being stuck in this place. Forgiveness isn't just piling more pain on top of what you're already feeling. It's about letting go of the resentment that holds you back and embracing a sense of freedom. In doing so, you can't help but feel the incredible mystery of how God works in our lives. Here on earth, we mostly interact with people face to face that we often expect kindness to be returned and aren't surprised when anger leads to more anger. It's a pattern that we observe every day. If we're alive, we've all experienced pain, whether it's from being hurt, being betrayed, or heartbroken from someone else's action. Often our unhealed wounds can spill over, affecting those around us. At least for me, that's how it has felt. It's naturally easy to feel offended in such situations. This includes Christian churches, friends who once gathered for prayer, and families with Bibles in every room. But again, even I struggle with this. When the pain feels so personal, it's tough to keep my reactions calm and collected. It's only natural to snap when hurt feelings or when hurt keeps piling on. Josie said it took me many years, so don't be hard on yourself. Kathy says, I knew years ago how I wanted it to be, but realized it wasn't going to be that way, right? Mary says, nobody's coming on a white horse to save me. The fair is in Pomona, the county fairgrounds. Right, Nikki? She said that's the hard part of letting it go. Mary said, I learned that I have to get up one more time, then I fall down. Y'all remember the topic I did a while back? It was on, what was it, fall 9 times, get up 10. Y'all remember that one? We kind of covered that. Harry says, sometimes the people don't even realize they have hurt you, right? Yes. Right, Nikki? I was so mad at God for taking my husband and mother. It was hard to forgive and move on. Yes. As y'all know, I went through that in 2022. Not with my husband, thank the Lord. Not with my husband, but since Nikki's here, I lost my dad and my mom within 19 days of each other. They were divorced, had been divorced for many years. But within 19 days, I lost both my parents. And then the following year, I lost my one and only sibling, my brother. So, right, we have consequences to pay when we make those bad choices. I have witnessed something incredible firsthand, however, something that words in my notes, they just can't fully capture. You see, it's amazing when someone empowered by God's Spirit manages to overcome their fleshly struggles and let go of unforgiveness. It's a truly special moment for everyone watching. And as I typed that, I couldn't help but think of Erica Kirk when she publicly announced, I'm getting chills just saying this, when she publicly announced that she forgave the guy that killed her husband. It's that incredible moment when you can actually see the Spirit of God before your eyes, almost tangible. It's an experience that stays with you forever. Oh, thank you, Nikki. Love you, my friend. All my friends as well. Right? Karen says, I've been hurt so bad mentally that I've made myself physically ill. Yeah. Harry says, sometimes in life we mess up and it's hard for us to forgive ourselves. That one, yes. Yeah. I keep throwing at myself of the things I've done in my past and thinking, how can God forgive me of that? How? And I just, I get past it sometimes. Yes. Nikki said, unforgiveness. Why is this? There we go. Unforgiveness is the devil's playground. Needs spiritual warfare. Oh, yes. Yep. Someone that came from an emotionally abused first marriage. Yes. Words were so bad. No, that's awesome, Nikki. That's awesome. But in a world filled with anger and conflict, why are words not working tonight? I've been hanging out with Selena too much. In a world where anger and conflict, where people fight against each other day in and day out, just for no reason but to fight, and the hearts are heavy with resentment, when someone chooses to lay down their sword and softly say, I forgive, it stops all. In that brief moment of expression, evil is held back. In that brief moment of expression, heaven meets earth. And in that brief moment of expression, the powerful truth of the gospel echoes not only for that one day, but for many generations to come. While salvation aligns our human nature with God's Spirit, forgiveness stands at the clearest proof that God's truth resides within us. Let's do another chat participation. How can you now see forgiveness as a life-giving freedom? Let's see. Right. We have all messed up. No one is perfect. And I don't know about you guys, but I'll even sit there and go, but did he know I would choose that? He knew. He didn't like it. But I think he knew. I know he knew. There's no thinking to it. But it's like, how could he still forgive me for that? I've asked my friends, well, why did he allow me to make that choice if he knew I was going to make that choice? The flesh wants what the flesh wants, right? Yeah, it's a question again. I'll say it again. Sorry. How can you now see forgiveness as a life-giving freedom? Josie, when you forgive, your life will improve in so many ways. Lisa D said he knows our tomorrows. That's why he died on the cross. Selena says free will. Y'all notice there's no right or wrong answers when we do these. Kraken says, I'm guilty of this myself, but people need to remember that we all should let go of everything that bothers us because we don't know when our day is up. Love that, Kraken. Yes. Mary says, forgiveness lets the sunlight in, an opportunity to continue onward and upward. Nikki says, something that seems painful to release those feelings and forgive the harm. I believe I can do it. Need to move forward. Harry says, he knew you were going to make that choice before you made it. Your decision to say, Lord, I messed up and I was wrong. Yes. Selena says, leave the hurt at their feet. Let them carry it. Big weight off our shoulders when we forgive. Yes. Anyone who witnesses this can't help but feel its impact. Right? Cool. Forgiving someone is actually better for you than for the one you're forgiving. Yes. So like I said, anyone who witnessed this can't help but feel the impact of it, of forgiveness. You're fine. That's perfectly fine, Kathy. Gotcha. Okay, now that I was like, okay, is that, she says, my brain is in a different place right now, so I don't even know how to answer that. Tonight wasn't about forgiveness for me. God took me a whole different direction. You just never know, right? Just never know what this is, and we're all going to have different thoughts of what this means and everything. It's a very hard topic, and we got 12 more weeks of this. So, Nikki, I hope you'll keep coming on back. I don't even know what you said. Oh, okay. Gotcha, Celine. I was like, what? Joanne says, forgiving gives us the freedom to move on and not let the hurt fester inside us. All right. I'm so glad that I saved you a seat at this table. Let's do a quick prayer, guys, if you will do me the honor in this. Father God, we confess there are places we've been putting off forgiving. It has felt too hard, too unfair, too soon for these still raw wounds. But when you ask us to forgive others as Jesus has forgiven us, you aren't being insensitive to our pain. You are graciously showing us how to get free from all of this hurt. You're helping us to become vessels that pour out grace and kindness instead of words and actions that we can never take back. Thank you for not asking us to do this on our own. Thank you that Jesus went first, even in this. Help us to look to him, learn from him, and follow his lead. We want the peace and wholeness and hope you're offering us through him. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen, amen. Right, there goes my nose running. Right, Lisa, yes. So, real quick, hang in there, guys, because we got one more chat participation. Tomorrow night, I will be on at 7:30 p.m. Central for a live auction of Slightly Unhinged, Sanity sold separately. I gotta share this, Harry said. Imagine sending your son to earth where he was going to be punished and hung up on a cross just for someone's son can forgive our sins. Yes. So tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Central, we'll be doing the auction. Wednesday night, we might do a show, we might not. So be watching the thumbnail to either stay there because I have it up right now, or I might take it down if we decide not to do one for Wednesday. You're welcome, Nikki. And if we do an auction Wednesday night, it'll be at 7:30 p.m. here on my channel. Thursday night, there will not be an auction because it's Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving. Which leads me to our last one more chat participation question. What are you thankful for? What are you thankful for? I'll share mine. I am thankful for each and every one of you guys that come to Monday Motivation and even to my auctions as well. I am so very thankful for my husband most of all. That is something I pray about every day. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me with such an incredible man. I'm thankful for my kids. I'm thankful for my grandbabies, all three of them. I have so much to be thankful for, and I hope you will take some time this week to realize how much you have to be thankful for as well. Oh, thank you, Nikki. You get a star. Wish I'd give you 5. Crack and Mary says, my family, good friend. Joanne says, I'm thankful for all of my family and my YouTube friends. Yes, our YouTube family. I feel like here on Monday, we're family. Josie says, still able to do what I do and for a wonderful son and family. Yes. Cole says, many things, but so thankful for God leading me to be a part of this wonderful community. Yes. Yes, Harry. Lisa D, yes. Kathy shared the revelation God gave me tonight about the table. It's overwhelming, not in a bad way. Surprise. Awesome, Kathy. I'm so proud of you, Kathy. Mary says, happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for the roof over my head, the food on the table, the faith in my heart, the people who care. Selena says, God, Sam, kids, you all. Right, Nikki? Yes. Lisa says, thankful for God's love and all blessings. He has blessed me with family, friends, doctors, mobility, freedom. Yes. All right, guys. So next Monday Motivation on episode 148, we are going to be discussing surviving, as in, is this even survivable when it comes to being able to forgive? Make sure you do all the YouTube things. You subscribe if you haven't already, that you ring the bell for all notifications, and a thumbs up on your way out if you haven't done so before now. Make it a great week, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great week. If I don't see you somewhere around the YouTube, remember, God's grace is sufficient for us, and He is our strength when we don't feel like that we can go on. Now let's do this thing. Y'all have a great night. Happy Thanksgiving.